Yo, what's up, y'all? How's it been? How's it going? Today I'm here to talk about some Lakers trade rumors. So, I don't really have a plan for exactly what I'm gonna talk about, but I just want to go over some trade rumors for this offseason mostly. And give me 1 second. Background music. Y'all can skip ahead if y'all watching this not live. Here. Okay. And then what I done? Give me 1 second. I'm gonna check. Hold on. It's not showing I'm live, however, all my audio is working, and it's saying I'm live on here at least, so I should be alright. If anything, I should probably just turn the music down a little smidge, because that's pretty loud. Okay. Alright, y'all, I'm back. My fault. Ain't no one watching it anyway, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, I'm pretty bored, so like everybody else is asleep, so I'm gonna just talk to myself basically about these trade rumors. But let's look at some rumors, because I already know who I think they're gonna trade for, but I want to see what like the common theories are. Okay, yeah, this is what I expected. Andrew Wiggins, Daniel Gafford. I actually disagree with this. For one, I do not think that the Lakers are going to trade for Daniel Gafford in any aspect. Because, first of all, the Mavericks are not going to make a trade with the Lakers after what happened. They're just going to be too much. It's like, I know it's just basketball. The teams make whatever trade is best for their team. But it's also to a point where, like, you want the fans to still be there at some point. So like, yeah, you're not gonna keep making trades with the same team that took your franchise player, and I think the Mavericks know that. Andrew Wiggins though, 100%. Like they fill every gap the Lakers have in defensively, athleticism. He's just his IQ on defense. And the way he'll run the floor, Luka would be, oh my gosh, I can see it now. Luka just chucking full court passes to Andrew Wiggins and just him slamming it down. And he's a good passer too, great rebounder for his position. He'll read those back cuts, he'll do all the things on the defensive end. Gabe Vincent's the only one who they're saying could be moved. Obviously, Rui and Connect, but, Cause yeah, I'm gonna look at some other teams too for some trade rumors, but for now, I'm gonna just look at some Lakers. I hope they're not talking about Giannis, cause we're not. Oh my god. No, dude. Stupid. I might just have to use like chat for this, cause sometimes school doesn't get it done. I'm not trying to watch that. They're not even telling. Bro. What? You're gonna trade a LeBron James to a team like the Dallas Mavericks to pair him with Luka Doncic? Alright, maybe chat isn't the best for this. I'm gonna just use this. I think this works usually. Okay. Here's some centers. Walker Kessler's obviously out for the year. I do think Nick Claxton I think Nick Claxton would be good as a backup big, but I don't think he'll be as good as someone like Rob Williams, the Time Lord. You know, I do think Time Lord will miss a lot of games. But we also, if we could get the Time Lord and keep Jackson Hayes, then we could have Rob Williams play limited minutes, and Jackson Hayes could still get 8 to 12 minutes a night, and Jackson Hayes or Rob Will could get 20, 22. He only played 18 a night last year. The only reason I think Rob Will would be such a good fit with the Lakers is because he played with Marcus Smart on the year he won DPOY, and that same year Smart won DPOY, Rob Will came, I think it was all defensive second team. But regardless, they were both great defenders at the same time on the same team, because I think their defensive IQs mesh so well, and their defensive play style. Obviously, Marcus Smart, a guard, he'll be better on the perimeter. Rob Williams, a center, he's a great shot blocker. But they're both one of the best at their selective role. Marcus Smart will lock down the best player on the other team. However, I do think, which we'll get to later, they need a wing to lock up the bigger, especially since Marcus Smart's older now, injury prone, not starting. They need a younger, quicker, athletic guy to actually lock up the other team's best player, like a Shea. Marcus Smart isn't locking up a Shea. I'm sorry. Other players like that, Cade Cunningham, players like that. Or even wings. If you slide Marcus Smart to the 3, he's only 6'3". He's not going to be able to guard the other team's best player if they're 6'6", 6'7", whatever. All right. But regardless, I do think Rob Williams could be a great pickup because he could average 2 blocks a game and only 22 minutes, 25 minutes a night. Same with Marcus Smart. He could average 2 steals a game and 22 minutes, 25 minutes a night. So I think ideally for a backup center, the Lakers would want to trade for Rob Williams, not Nick Claxton. Even Jacob Telly, that's kind of stupid. He's just an offensive stretch 5. I don't think the Lakers need that. I don't need more offense in the slightest. Their offense is incredible, especially with how bad their three-point shooting has been from their main guys like Luka, Reeves, even Rui, who's been incredibly efficient, hasn't shot well from 3. Smart has shot horrible from 3. Obviously Connect, which sucks for his trade value because that is the one thing he needs to do well. But Nick Claxton, I think he is a more offensive-minded center, and he's kind of a little slow on the defensive end, as in mentally. He isn't the highest defensive IQ, but I do think he's 6'11", so I do think he's a good shot blocker and a good rebounder, and would be good off the bench. But I don't think he's as much of a lob threat as Rob Williams, even though Rob Williams is only 6'9", which I do think could be a problem. Even though our starting center Ayton is 7 foot. Rob Williams coming off the bench 6'9". Off the bench, we also have Vando 6'7". We have Jake LaRavia, who's also 6'7", and then Marcus Smart, and then whoever else we'd have out of the bench, Nick Smith, I guess, if we trade Gabe Vincent. But I think for the long term, Nick Claxton would be better, but he would also be a lot more expensive to get. Holy shit, this is the most viewers I've ever gotten. I know, of course, it happens when I'm recording fucking basketball or sports shit. But I do think Rob Williams and Nick Claxton are the 2 centers that they should at least look at to get this offseason. And besides that, for the wings, I do think Herb Jones and Wiggins are obviously the top 2. But I would also throw Brooks in that category of defensive wings who will hit a shot. Out of the 3, Dylan Brooks, Herb Jones, and Wiggins, I think Wiggins is the best offensively, but I do think Herb Jones by far the best defensively, and he'll still hit a catch and shoot 3 every now and then to get you however many points a night, 9 to 11, however many. But if you want a scorer and a guy who can play on the other team's best player, I think Wiggins would be the best fit for the Lakers, at least currently. If we're going long term though, Herb Jones would absolutely be better. Because he's younger, and around Luka, he probably is a better fit. But around this whole team, I think Wiggins is a better fit. But I'm trying to think guys we could trade for Wiggins, because it is kind of tough just to flip Rui in the first. So I'm thinking if we traded Rui, Damn, I got 10 viewers. This is the most I've had in like 6 years, dude. What the hell? Alright, whatever. But yeah, I'm saying, obviously we're not trading Reeves. That's not a possibility. But Rui and a first could get us Wiggins. And I also think Herb Jones is a lot more untouchable than Wiggins. Like, a lot more. Yeah, I don't think the Pelicans would trade Herb Jones. But anyway, Dylan Brooks, however, I do think would just be such a good presence in the locker room on any team. Like, everyone says he's a team cancer. I think Dylan Brooks is one of the best role players in the NBA. Like, he's one of the most versatile. He's very consistent. He's been one of the Suns' most offensively consistent players throughout the start of the season. But again, I don't think the Suns would be likely to trade him because of that, especially for someone like Rui Hachimura, who, although he has been extremely efficient, is not nearly on the same level defensively. It is hard to say, though, especially with all these centers, because I think the Lakers need shooting at the 5. And I don't think they have that, especially with Ayton, with Jackson Hayes, with Vando. Obviously, Braun is going to give you a 3, but, you know. Like, I think a Brook Lopez would be elite off the bench if the Clippers didn't sign him, if we could have got him. Or even someone like a Miles Turner would have been a great starting center. I would have rather had him over Ayton, I think. Let me think. I want to look at some trade rumors for the Warriors, because they also have been a great defense but a bad offense, kind of the opposite of the Lakers. Sabonis? They're talking about Sabonis to the Warriors? That would be crazy, though. I heard he is, like, mad in Sacramento, so I could see him getting traded. I don't think they're going to get any of these guys. These are kind of like high market players, so like someone a little less than that. I think they definitely need a center. I think Nick Claxton would fit this team really good, because he's like better than the Lakers, I'm saying, because he's better offensively than he is defensively, and I think Draymond and Jimmy make up for that. But I don't know. There's a lot of players. They have to trade Kuminga, right? They're not keeping him. There's no way they keep Jonathan Kuminga. If I will sell my left kidney if Jonathan Kuminga is still on this Warriors roster at the beginning of the 2027 season. But they might not do it this season, but they have to soon, because Steph's 37, Jimmy's 35. Like, they're getting old. Same thing with the Clippers, man. And I'm so mad. I want to rant about this right now, but I don't know if I can. The Clippers being bad is the worst thing that could ever happen to the NBA. I'm telling you. Because I just saw this shit on Twitter the other day. About Jalen Williams trying to play the 3 on the Thunder. Because they're trying to get, what's his name? Cameron Boozer? Is that his name? The fucking power forward center. Out of Duke, I think. Maybe I'm tweaking. But I know he's a top 3 prospect next year. But I know if the Thunder get a top 3 pick, it's over. The next 10 years of basketball are done as we know it. Like, they might win 6 in a row. They might do what Jordan couldn't. I don't know. Who could trade for Giannis? That's what I'm trying to think of. Because I could see Giannis getting traded if the Bucks are bad at the end of the season. There's a lot of teams. It's not going to be the Lakers. If they say the Lakers, I'm going to be mad. It's always the Lakers. This is the one team I will say. The Spurs, 100%. I think they're the most likely by far. I think with how many young players they have, they could do it pretty easily. Even without giving up a guy like Stephon Castle, which I think they should. I think this is a good package, Stephon Castle and Vassell. Because if they keep De'Aaron Fox, obviously he doesn't match their time frame, but neither does Giannis. And so I think to win now, you have De'Aaron Fox, Giannis, and Wemby, and that's a championship. That's a championship on any level. All these other teams are kind of stupid, except for the Knicks. They could absolutely, or the Heat, even if they trade Bam. But I don't think they will. Or here, I guess they. Ooh, Giannis Bam backcourt would be kind of nasty. That would be kind of nasty. Obviously not as nasty as Wemby and Giannis. Defensively, that would be horrifying. Because, oh my God, Wemby and Giannis. Like, there's no stop, there's no scoring at the rim. They're just chucking up threes all game, and then like that's 35% because you still got those perimeter defenders in Stephon Castle, or no, not Stephon Castle, but the Spurs are deep, man, and they got a lot of picks. They got a lot of young players. They could trade. I could see them trading Devin Vassell, Jeremy Sochan, and Stephon Castle, and I think that might be enough. And like 3 or 4 first, obviously for Giannis. I think that might be enough to get it done, because obviously Giannis is such a high value. But we saw what happened with Luka last year, and Luka wasn't even like disgruntled in Dallas, and he got traded for nothing. So I could absolutely see Giannis getting traded for this, but it is hard to say. And then same thing with the Knicks. They'd have to trade Cat, I think. I guess not, but like I also don't think the Knicks want to go back to having no bench. Like if they trade Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, and Josh Hart, I guess they'd have to trade like their entire bench just to get Giannis, and then it's not even worth it because you have like the same production as you did before. I think it's different with the Spurs because you are giving up a bunch of players, but they're younger, not proven. You know what I mean? Bro, is my audio fucked up? Can one of y'all chat? Because none of y'all, like, I've had 45 viewers throughout this 30 minutes I've been live. Or 20 minutes I've been live, damn. Can one of y'all chat real quick and tell me if my mic is absolutely tweaking? Because I have no idea. It could just be horrible. It doesn't matter. None of y'all are going to chat. But I do think the top 3 for getting Giannis this offseason are the Heat, Knicks, and Spurs. I guess the Warriors could, but they'd have to give up everything in the future, like every single pick they have. Because Kuminga and Podziemski, however you say his name, are not enough to get Giannis. I'm going to just say that right now. Not even close. I don't know, it's sad. I don't know. The Bucks did sign 2 of Giannis's brothers, so there is a chance he stays. But if they're bad at the deadline, under 500, or like even out of the playoffs, out of the top 6 seed, I think he's out. Definitely if he's out of the playoffs. Like if they're out of the top 10, he's out of there. He's leaving. He's booking a flight to LA, and he's I don't even know. No, honestly, if the Bucks are like the worst team in the NBA at the deadline, he might just force a trade to like the Thunder. Although the Thunder did say they have no interest in trading for him, which is interesting because I think imagine the Chet, Giannis, and J-Dub defense, and all they would have to trade is everybody. All they would have to trade is everybody and every pick, but that's not a lot when they have 2 top 10 picks next year in a stacked lottery. The Thunder could get Giannis. Holy shit. I just really thought about it for the first time. Next offseason, if the Thunder get a top 3 pick and another top 10 pick, they could bundle a bunch of their young players in those 2 picks for Giannis. Man, oh my gosh. I'm just trying to think about how... Because this Thunder team right now is just already one of the top 10 best teams of all time. And they don't even have their second best player. So imagine adding not only their second best player, but the second best player in the league currently. I don't know. Shea, Giannis, Chet, J-Dub, and then you have like Lou Dort still at the 2. Is just the craziest defensive lineup of all time that I don't think anyone's going to score. It already is the craziest defensive lineup of all time. But anyway, what else? What other teams should I look at? Like Rockets, maybe? Because the Rockets need a point guard. Like, they've shown that. Like, they've been good, but I think they'd just be so much better if they didn't have Amen Thompson starting at their 1. Like, yeah, the 5 bigs does work at times, but at the same time, when there's absolutely no shooting, and it's just kind of bad. It's kind of bad. Even though you have KD, when your second best shooter on the floor is Alperen Şengün, you got a problem. You got a problem. I'll say it. So let me look. Obviously, a blockbuster trade, like guys like LaMelo and John Morant are going to be available this year. And I do think one of them, if not both, are going to get traded this offseason. More likely John Morant, just based off how it's been going to start the season. It's been going almost identical to how the Jimmy Butler situation went, which obviously ended in a trade. So I think John Morant gets traded. But let's see what everyone's talking about. Trae Young's not. I guess he could. But I feel like the passing is already so good that they don't need an elite passer. They need someone more like. No. That's not. Wait, I'm thinking of the wrong team. Yeah, for the Rockets, Trae Young would fit. But regardless, I still don't think that's what they need, an inefficient shot chucker. That's basically just Fred VanVleet. So it's the best version of Fred VanVleet, obviously. Trae Young's not as bad as Fred VanVleet, but he's not the guy that I think they need. I do think Derek White would fit them better. Kobe White's more of an off guard, so it's kind of rough. But Chris Dunn, by the way, I saw a stat about Chris Dunn. He's top 5 in DPOY voting, and I was watching him play versus the Lakers the other day, and they weren't that. He was not locking down Luka, bro. He was fouling every possession, and it was getting called too. It wasn't like I'm being biased. Dennis Schroeder, bro. Dennis Schroeder sucked. Imagine Dennis Schroeder's a starting point guard for this Rockets team. That would be such an ugly offense. But I want to look at like John Morant trade ideas, because I don't know, but I have a strong feeling that he is going to get traded this offseason to the Timberwolves. That would be so awesome. Imagine John, and like obviously it's a freaking fantasy, but it could happen. They do have players. They would probably have to give up Gobert or Randall, but I don't think they would. I don't think they would give up Randall, especially with the way Ja's been playing. I think they could give up Gobert and like Rob Dillingham in a first, maybe, for John Morant. I don't think that's asking too much of the Timberwolves. Especially with how John Morant's been playing this year, it might be. But John Morant is John Morant. He's gonna be a borderline all-star player whenever he's healthy. And even though that is pretty rare nowadays, I think it is more off the court stuff than him actually being injured all the time. Obviously, it is him being injured all the time, but I think the off court shit, just like how Jimmy Butler was quote unquote injured all the time in Miami, I think that was just him having behind the scene problems with the front office. Obviously, that's why he left. The same reason why John Morant's likely gonna leave. I do want to look at real quick a Lakers depth chart. Lakers depth chart, because I want to see what it would look like at the end of the season going into the playoffs, like realistically. Is this right even? Okay. Wait, no. I feel like I'm missing someone. Yeah. Dalton Connect. I think realistically, if we're talking about second unit, I think Dalton Connect is over Gabe Vincent. So I think Marcus Smart would be here, Dalton Connect here, obviously, but I don't know. I can't speak for everyone on that. Dalton Connect has been absolutely atrocious. I think Nick Smith Jr. has been better than him, and he's in the G League, so there's not a lot of hope. Drew Timme, by the way, his first game, or first 2 games, I think he played 2, or just 1. He looked pretty good. He looked like a good guy to run the floor with Luka off the bench. Or not Luka off the bench, but Luka on the bench. Obviously, he's not going to get real minutes this season. Likely maybe 8 at the most a game. But I want to think about trades, obviously with Rui. Show me. Okay, I just want to replace Rui with Wiggins. I just want to see something, because I just want to imagine, fully indulge myself. Not. Oh wait, real? Oh, they would probably. Yeah. Who am I thinking? Damn. Gabe Vincent. I think that's a good trade for the Lakers. Gabe Vincent and Rui for Wiggins. I think they would obviously have to give up another bench player, but I think, especially with how Gabe Vincent played for Miami on that conference finals run, I think he just has a sentimental value towards that team. So I think the Heat would be a lot less angry about this trade, which it would just nullify the how bad this trade actually is for them. Because I think Wiggins is a much better player than Rui, and obviously this would not be the final trade. It would be a first round in this trade, a first round pick. But besides that, look at this starting five. This could be the best starting five in basketball. I'm not even just saying that because I'm a Lakers fan. The obviously the consensus for number one right now is the Thunder, and Luka and Shea. Obviously, you could argue either way. They're both top 4 players in the NBA. Shooting guard Austin Reeves. I would argue him and J-Dub this season. J-Dub is better by a good amount, but not the amount that Thunder fans say it is. I think especially 28 points a game. J-Dub hasn't played a game this season. He did play great last season, especially in the finals. He needs to prove himself. And Wiggins, I do think, is better than someone like Lou Dort. So I think the matchup of Austin Reeves and Wiggins is better than Lou Dort and Jalen Williams. Which, again, might be biased, but I don't care. Then let's go down the line. LeBron James and Chet Holmgren. That's obviously, people are gonna argue LeBron's 40. He's ass, whatever. No, bro. LeBron is still LeBron. He just had 25, 6, and 6 a couple nights ago. He's still LeBron. He's still gonna average. I think. Okay, my predictions for this season: he's gonna average 23 a game, with a calm 23, maybe like 6 rebounds, 6.5 rebounds, and then like 8 or 9 assists. I think it's gonna be a career year for him. Not obviously career high. He's averaged 10 before, but I think he's gonna average 23, 6, and 9. That's my predictions. Regardless, back to it. LeBron is better than Chet Holmgren. I don't care what y'all say. LeBron is better than Chet Holmgren and DeAndre Ayton and Isaiah Hartenstein. It's pretty close. Y'all can't even deny it's pretty close. Isaiah Hartenstein's better on defense. DeAndre Ayton's better on offense, if we're being real. They're both about equal rebounders. They're both about equal for what they provide to the team. So I think the starting lineup is about as equal as it could get between this hypothetical team with the Lakers and the Thunder currently. And then the bench. Of course, we have to talk about the bench because the bench is a problem for the Lakers. But I think Marcus Smart is a good 6-man. And I think Vando and Marcus Smart off the bench is good. I think we should keep both of them if we want our defense to be elite. And if we get Wiggins and keep these two, our defense is automatically skyrocketed to one of the best because we could run a lineup of Marcus Smart, Wiggins, and Vando, and also have like Reeves and Ayton at the same time. So that's elite. That's elite. I want to do another trade though. Trade Connect. And I think I do want to keep overall Jackson Hayes off the bench as a third string center. I don't think he could be a backup, but I do think he has potential for the future playing with Luka, even if it's not right now. So trade Connect and Kleber for Raul. And this would be my finalized ideal Lakers lineup. Let me show you. Let me show you my vision, because this is my vision of what could win us the championship. Also, what is this? Okay, regardless. Yeah, this is perfect. This is perfect. What do you mean traded? Okay, well, regardless. Yes, our bench takes a shot. I think Nick Smith could play minutes come late in the season. Late in the season, play up minutes. I see it happening. Nick Smith Jr., he's inefficient. He's a good offensive, officiating. He officiates an offense well. He will go out there and handle the ball I haven't seen him turn it over too much so far this season. I think he could absolutely play the backup behind Luka. Obviously not extended minutes, 8 to 12 minutes a game. Less in the playoffs. But Rob Will, Vando, Jake LaRavia, and Marcus Smart as our 6th through 9th men off the bench. Oh my gosh, that's elite. Defensively, this is elite. Imagine running a lineup of Luka Doncic, Marcus Smart, Andrew Wiggins, Jared Vanderbilt, and Rob Williams. Obviously, the offense would be abysmal, but I'm trying to prove a point of defensive intensity with still having Luka Doncic on the court. That could be the best defensive team in the league with having Luka Doncic on the court. That is hard to do. So, this could be a good overall vision. Another guy I could see, obviously, instead of Wiggins, Herb Jones, which would just make the defense even better and the offense a little bit weaker, but still, he's a good, consistent player. Regardless of his shooting percentages, I think he shot 40% from 3 a couple years ago. But I'm not 100% sure on that. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, this is my final, I guess. I can see it. And people have been saying Nick Claxton is a better prospect over Rob Williams. And I do agree long term, Nick Claxton is better than Rob Williams. But again, he's harder to trade for, and he won't fit this system as good as Rob Williams does, in my opinion. I think Rob Williams is the perfect fit for this Lakers team, especially with Wiggins, especially with Marcus Smart, and especially with Luka. And even Reeves has become not a great lob passer because of he's been thrown to Braun. I don't know if y'all have seen some of these Lakers games. He's just chucking it up like LeBron's still 30. But to Ayton, he's a good lob passer. And not as good as Luka, but he's still a good passer. Same thing with Wiggins. Wiggins is an underrated passer and a very underrated rebounder. Like, he can do everything on the basketball court, which is kind of what we need. Like, we have guys who can play their role to perfection, but we don't have guys who can do everything on the basketball court to a high level. You know what I mean? I'd say our best example of that, actually, is Jake LaRavia, because he's a great defender and he's really good on offense. But I don't think he's good enough to be our best two-way player. You know what I mean? Besides maybe Marcus Smart, I guess. But his percentages have been bad, so I'm not going to give it to him. Players traded out. Yeah. I'd say if we were to keep one of these 4 players, it would actually be Maxi Kleber. Because I don't know if y'all have seen. I've been a Mavs fan. Or I used to be a Mavs fan. It's complicated. We're on a break. Maxi Kleber is really good at doing, like Lucas said, things that don't show up in the box score. He's a great screen setter. He's great off ball. He'll move without the ball. He'll make good defensive plays, even though he's not a good defender, pound for pound. He'll make good defensive players regardless. See, people are leaving my chat as soon as I start talking about Maxi Kleber. Of course, boring ass player. Let's look at some other trades. I want to think teams that need a trade to be a real contender, like the Raptors. I think are one of them. They're the 2nd seed right now, but I don't think they're a real contender right now. Like in a series, in a playoff series, I'd still take like the Magic, the Knicks, the Pistons, obviously, the Cavs, all of them over the Raptors. And I think the Raptors need to make another trade to be in a real contention talk. So Raptors trades, or it's just gonna show me old trades. Yeah, rumors. Because I'm thinking they need. Oh, okay. I was gonna say Ja Morant, but he's like not a great fit, especially shooting wise. They don't have good shooting outside of Brandon Ingram, and Ja Morant does not fix that. Same with Giannis. They were talking about that in the offseason. I don't think Giannis fits this team very well. How is LeBron in trade talks? Nah, it's not happening. Sabonis, I could see this happening. No, not with Scotty. Not with Scotty Barnes. They're too similar. They're too similar offensively. And with the Trailblazers, the Raptors, I don't know. They do need a center outside of Patelli, I think. But maybe not. They could run with Patelli, Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes. I think they need to trade one of their 2 guards. But regardless, Another team that has been interesting. I wanna think about. Ooh, the Kings are about to blow up everything this season. So Kings trade rumors, because I know Zach LaVine might be out of there. Sabonis might be out of there. Major sellers, that's what I'm saying. Right. Sabonis, of course. He's not going to the Mavericks. Definitely not going to the Mavericks. That's a horrible fit. The Warriors, I could see. As much as I hate to say it, Sabonis could fit this team really well. He's an elite rebounder, which is what they need. And he's good on offense, and he will officiate with Draymond and Jimmy, and he has that same type of IQ. Even though he's not like the same level passing as Jokic or Sengun, I think he's still a good passer, so I think he would fit this system well. With overall, Zach LaVine to the Bucks. That's one thing I've been thinking about a lot too. They could absolutely do that, and around Giannis, that would be fun to watch. It would just be dunks on dunks, but Zach LaVine's a good 3-point shooter. He does fit this system. But I don't know. If they're going to trade someone, I think they should trade Sabonis first, because they could get more value out of him, and they could let Zach LaVine walk if they need to, because they don't want to let Sabonis walk. He's a lot more value. Russ is probably staying. They just signed him. Might as well keep him for the year if they're going to be bad anyway. I mean, he doesn't really improve the team anyway. He's just more of a filler. But he has been good this season, so I can't even say that. Keon Ellis. Oh my gosh. This is one thing that I've been thinking. If the Lakers can somehow flip just Dalton Connect for Keon Ellis, we win a championship. If that's the only move we make, that might be a little dramatic. But I do think Keon Ellis is that good of a defender that he could... How the hell do I have 111 views? It's been 37 minutes. This is the most I've gotten in straight up 5 years or some shit. I don't even know. It's been a minute. Anyway, I hope y'all are doing well. No one said anything, but clearly this is getting some sort of attention. Probably because of the what's it called? The clickbait, the thumbnail. That's funny. That actually works. Oh yeah, Jaylen Brown's not getting traded to the Lakers. I forgot I put that up there. That's not happening. I'm gonna be so for real. Why is it saying I posted this shit a month ago? It's happening now. Alright, whatever. Back to what I was saying. Keon Ellis could be such a great addition to literally 90% of the teams in the NBA. 90% of the teams in the NBA, and specifically the Lakers. Dalton Connect for Keon Ellis would just fix the Lakers lineup fully. Like, in every aspect besides like a starting role. He would not be starting, but is he a two? Like, is he a point guard or a small forward? Yeah. Let me look up. Let's small forward. Like, is he a point guard, shooting guard, or a shooting guard, small forward? I know he's shooting guard, but what about secondary, brother? I don't know. I didn't spell that shit right. Point guard. Okay. A combo guard. Thank you. That's all you need to say. Did he say that? No. Regardless, yeah, combo guard. That's not really what we need. We already have him more smart, and I think Keon Ellis is very similar to that. Whereas a player like Herb Jones or Andrew Wiggins would fill that role better of a wing, athletic wing, just to defend the hell out of the other team. But since no one has said a word in my chat, I'm running out of ideas very quickly. I'm not very what's it called? Analytical. I actually don't know. Like, I don't really know who's most likely to get traded. But I think out of all the players, the top three are Ja Morant. Like, not all the players, because that's ridiculous, but out of all the star players, I think it's got to be Ja Morant. It's hard. It's Ja Morant. I could absolutely see Sabonis getting moved. And I could absolutely see, what's his name on the Hawks? Trae Young getting moved. I could see Ja Morant, Sabonis, or Trae Young getting moved at this deadline. And I could also see the Lakers making a shit ton of moves themselves. One thing I don't look at is, like, 2026 draft. Because this draft is pretty stacked, and I just want to look more into the players. Alright. Darren Peterson, I didn't know this, dude. Is this actually all they're going to show? Okay. Okay, some of these guys I don't know. Obviously the big three, Darren Peterson, AJ DeMonster, Cameron Boozer. If the Thunder get any of these three guys right here, it's over. Especially, I think the guy who fits this current Thunder team the best is Cameron Boozer. But I think he might be the worst prospect out of the three. Darren Peterson has looked elite. Although I still do think AJ DeMonster is like a generational player, almost like Kevin Durant, and I think AJ DeMonster is gonna go second after Darren Peterson or Cameron Boozer, and I think one of them, whoever goes first, might be a bust, and AJ DeMonster, who will go second, is just gonna be like a Kevin Durant, who just averages like 30. I could see AJ DeMonster averaging 30 in the league. He's been insane in college, like efficiency wise. Regardless of that. Yeah, power forward, center, Cameron Boozer. I think he would fit that Thunder roster as well as any of these guys. Because imagine Chet Holmgren at the 5, Cameron Boozer at the 4, then Jalen Williams at the 3, Lou Dort, and Shea. That's disrespectful. But AJ DeMonster is obviously, only an inch shorter than Cameron Boozer, so he could play the. That's the thing. He's a small forward though, and I don't really want Chet, or I don't really want Jada playing the 4. And Chet playing the 5 because I think that's ugly. But I think you could obviously run Chet, J-Dub, and AJ DeMonster at the 2 even, or switch, AJ DeMonster and J-Dub, and still have iHeart or a good center at the 5 and have Chet at the 4 because it has worked out for them obviously so far. Nate Ament, I haven't heard much about him. Obviously, he's a good prospect. 6'10". Okay. Oh, wait, is he? Dude, there's so much, height in this draft. Like, AJ DeMonster... Same thing. AJ DeMonster reminds me of a better Ace Bailey. Like, the most ideal version of Ace Bailey. But he's 6'9". I think Cameron Boozer's 6'10". He's 6'10". Caleb Wilson, another power forward center, doesn't say how tall, but I bet he's tall as shit. Same with this guy. He's 6'10.5". Dude, all these guys are so tall that, in the next 10 years, or in the next 5 years even, the talk about the best big men in the league is going to be so tight. Between Cameron Boozer, Alperen Sengun is going to be up there in a few years, I think, still. Who else? Who else is going to be a top 10 center in the league in 5 years? Because obviously Jokic is still going to be, he might be number 1 still, but he's not really a young player developing into something. I think Alex Sarr could fulfill his potential. Same thing with Derek Queen. He's looked great, but both of them, Alex Sarr, especially defensively, he could be one of the best defenders in the league. He could be almost like a Gobert type of player where he doesn't exactly strive offensively, but he still provides enough offensively to where he's a good enough offensive player to where he can contribute to a team with his elite defense, because I do see the flashes of defense with him, and no one really watches him because he's on the Wizards, and the Wizards suck, so it's kind of hard. The Nets, bro. I've been thinking about the Nets so much because I don't know how they're gonna fix what they're doing. I don't know what their plan is, dude. The Nets are so bad, it's insane. They got no future, and sorry to any Nets fans, but yeah, y'all are done. Alright, you know what? Let's react. I'm gonna react to a video. I don't know if I'm allowed to do this. I'm about to get fucking copyright strikes. Lakers trade rumors. Because why not, dude? I don't really care. And who is this? No, this is not. Wait, who is this? Am I tripping? Does that not look like KCP? Dude. What is this video? I just want to know who they're trying to trade. They're not going to get KCP. Okay, yeah, whatever. What was I looking for? Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, that's me. What the fuck? Oh, that's trippy. Why am I here? God, it's definitely real. Y'all gotta believe it. Y'all gotta believe it. I'm just looking right now. Maybe a trade rumor is going crazy. Yeah. Who do y'all think? Who do y'all think is the most likely? Who do y'all think is the most likely to get traded this season? Out of any, not really all-star player, but perennial all-star player like a John Morant or LaMelo Ball. Like, obviously those two are gonna be up there in those conversations, but I don't think he ever directly said that he was like requesting a trade, but I did hear he was open to a trade, not exactly requesting one. But you know, same type of beat. I do. Shit, my shit falling off. But I just want to skim through this real quick, because I'm not trying to talk about LaMelo Ball this whole time. John Morant, it's just really just to be the two guys that I just talked about. They're talking about Trae Young too. So they're just talking about the three most guys most likely to get traded. But that's obvious, dude. But it's also just on a thumbnail. That's boring if you just put the 3 guys that got traded on the thumbnail. See, I'm like Jaylen Brown to the Lakers and shit. Clearly, this is clickbait. If any of y'all clicked on this thumbnail right here, to get to find out if Jaylen Brown got traded to the Lakers, y'all are dumb. Not like, yeah, respectfully, not respectfully, but y'all know. There's a lot. I don't look at AD trades. I do. Because see, look, y'all lucky this is not me. This got 28,000 views. It's just a picture of AD. Okay. Okay, the Bulls. The Bulls for AD, that is something I wanted to talk about. The Bulls for AD could be interesting because, well, for one, the Bulls could absolutely do it. Like, money-wise and young player-wise. They could trade Kobe White and Vucevic for AD. And besides the Bulls, I don't think there's many teams that could do it and give the Mavericks a solid package for someone they essentially traded 1-for-1 for Luka. Obviously, they got a first and Max Christie, who's been elite, but I think they need a lot of picks. Or someone young like Kobe White could be a good filler, could be nice around Kyrie Irving, and Cooper Flag for sure. I could definitely see that, but yeah, I think, okay, I see these two as the most likely. I wasn't going to bring up the Warriors for Anthony Davis because, they'd just be so old if he's their starting center. That would suck for them. They'd probably have to trade. There's no way they get this trade done without trading Butler, though, right? There's no way the Warriors could possibly trade for AD with just Jonathan Kuminga and Pods. Maybe. But the Bulls could, I think, with Vucevic, Kobe White, and like Patrick Williams. I think that's the consensus, and like 2 first-round picks for AD. I think that's fair, especially since AD just got flipped for Luka Doncic not that long ago, and he is still an elite 2-way player, probably a top 3 2-way player in the league. So I do think his value hasn't fallen off as much as people want to say it has. He's still Anthony Davis. He's still gonna produce at a high level. I do think the Knicks could obviously trade, OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges for AD, along with like 2 firsts, 3 firsts. But I think it would be a rough fit with Cat and AD. Maybe not, because I do think actually Cat plays better at the center position, as much as people don't want to say it. If he has a good defensive 4 around him, I think he's better than if he's playing at the 4 with a good defensive 5, which might be might be controversial, but I do think last year he played really good, like one of the best seasons he's had in years, and he played the center, with the 4 being Josh Hart, who's 6'4". So I think he could absolutely play good with Anthony Davis. Because obviously very different play styles, but they would probably mesh pretty nice. Do y'all have anything for me? Any ideas? What did he say? Oh, damn, I didn't even hear him. I didn't even hear that he said that, but whatever. What is this? What does it go to? What did I just click on? God, I don't actually give a shit. I forgot. Let's see. I don't even know what to look up. Damn. Lakers. Should I do more Lakers trade rumors? I feel like I already talked about that shit so much, but at the same time, no one that was here 30 minutes ago is still here, so none of y'all probably heard my rants about Keon Ellis and Herb Jones. So I could run it back, but I don't know how many people are actually staying for like longer than a minute. You feel me? It actually tells me my average viewer duration is 1:14 seconds, so none of y'all are staying that long. So, what's like something that would keep like a group of toddlers entertained? Like I could play some fucking Subway Surfers in the background. What a Subway Surfers. That didn't work. Perfect. Yeah, this usually works. Yep. Right here, guys. So we were talking about Lakers basketball, right? I'm gonna turn this volume down. This is fucking annoying. Talking about Lakers basketball. We're talking about Herb Jones and Rob Williams to the Lakers. Y'all understand me? Y'all hearing what I'm saying? Herb Jones and Rob Williams, they would be the perfect fit around Luka, of course, and Reeves, and Braun even would play so well with Herb Jones based off how Herb Jones fits in at the 3 and how good defensively. Braun's offensive IQ is so hated on because he's not a great defender anymore because he's 45 fucking years old. But Herb Jones is a great defender, one of the best in the league, and his defensive IQ is so high. Seeing him next to LeBron James would just make his defensive IQ skyrocket. You feel me? Like, playing next to LeBron will make your IQ skyrocket no matter what type of role you play. LeBron, or Luka even, when he joined the Lakers, you could see a clear difference in his playmaking skills with a guy who will just sprint down the floor. Like, he's never really had a teammate like LeBron. No one has. No one plays like LeBron. So, I think Herb Jones is the best fit long-term around Luka. But I also think that if the Lakers are trying to win right now, they should go get Andrew Wiggins. And they should just go get Andrew Wiggins. And they could call it a day. They could go into the playoffs with that lineup of Luka, Reeves, Andrew Wiggins, LeBron James, and DeAndre Ayton, and be hopeful to win a championship. However, I think if they're trying to really improve what they're missing, they need a backup center too. Because, yeah, obviously the wing, that should come first for them. That should be what they need first. Athletic 3-and-D wing. But a backup big besides Jackson Hayes should be the very next priority. Because Jackson Hayes, as much as I love him, and as much as he fits perfectly around Luka and Reeves, man, he's not good, bro. He is. He's good. He's not good in the playoff setting. We saw it last year. He literally got played off the court by Rudy Gobert. And we're saying we got to keep this guy for our backup center. Our backup center rotation throughout the playoffs another year. Keep in mind that our center rotation last year was Alex Len and Jackson Hayes. Actually, no, I think we did drop Alex Len before the playoffs, luckily. But then again, outside of that, it was like Koloko. Koloko was getting minutes for us. Braun was playing center for us in the playoffs. We had LeBron James, 40-year-old LeBron James, playing center for us in the playoffs against Rudy Gobert, one of the best defensive centers of our generation. To say pretty blatantly. I don't know. Lakers have a lot of changes to make. Not a lot. At least 2, maybe 3. I think. I just had a wicked idea. All right, like for one more trade the Lakers could make outside of Rob Williams and Herb Jones. And y'all are gonna have to hear me out on this one. Hold on, I'll get back to your Subway Surfers gameplay. That actually might not have worked. I got like less viewers than I did before when I had Subway Surfers on. But Lakers depth chart. I'm going to create the Lakers' ideal depth chart for going into the playoffs at the end of the season, and I want y'all to be here with me for this vision. So obviously this is current. Okay, yeah. Now imagine we trade Rui and Gabe for Wiggins. Actually, should I do it for Wiggins? Okay, in my ideal scenario, would I want to trade for Andrew Wiggins or Herb Jones? And in this scenario, which is ideal, it's Wiggins. It's Wiggins, and let me show y'all why. Not from Golden State. Fucking AI is stupid, but regardless, it doesn't really matter where he's coming from. He's on the team. And then the bench is Marcus Smart. The bench is not. Okay, regardless of that, I want to, since we get our wing with Andrew Wiggins for just Rui and Gabe Vincent in a first, then we would then go and trade. If we could somehow manage to trade just Jax and Kleba, and obviously like a second or even maybe a first for Rob Will. Because if we're being real, Jax isn't that much worse than Rob Williams, especially when it comes to Rob Williams consistently on the floor. Like, he's injured all the time, so it's not a huge risk for the Trailblazers. But this is kind of my point. Look at the bench in totality. You have Luka, Marcus Smart, Reeves, Connect, Wiggins, LaRavia, LeBron, Vando, Ayton, Williams. That is pretty elite just in of itself. But then if we manage to go out and trade, which I've seen a lot of Lakers fans saying this, and this exact trade that I'm about to put out is not going to happen. And a second round pick for Keon Ellis. Keon Ellis of the... Motherfucker. Okay, whatever. Well, luckily I'm done. Keon Ellis of the Sacramento Kings is one of the best on-ball defenders and would fit this Lakers lineup perfectly, not to mention the Kings are currently shipping him. So, if we could do... Dalton Connect has to play so good between now and the deadline to get his value up to this point. Regardless, let's look at the full depth chart now. With Keon Ellis, with Wiggins, with Williams, you have Luka Doncic, Marcus Smart, Austin Reeves, Keon Ellis, Andrew Wiggins, Jake LaRavia, LeBron James, Vando, Ayton, Rob Williams. Oh my God, this is insane, because that means either LaRavia or Vando would not get minutes. Probably Vando if we have Keon Ellis. But Keon Ellis, Andrew Wiggins, Marcus Smart, Vando, and Rob Williams are all such elite defenders that we could realistically run a lineup of Marcus Smart, Ellis, Wiggins, Vando, and Williams. And as horrible as that team would be offensively, my goodness, would that team be a menace on offense or on defense? Even just these four off our bench as our main 4 bench guys. Obviously, outside of Jake LaRavia, I'd say overall Jake LaRavia might have slipped past Vanderbilt for that bench role, but it's still close, of course, because Vando is such a good defender. With all the offense we have, especially if we added Wiggins, we might have Vando in the lineup still, but it's a 50-50. But I think just these four, their defense is so elite, not even accounting for Wiggins in the starting lineup. This could be the starting lineup on the best defensive team in the NBA. You know? The horrible offense. Let me reiterate. Horrible offense. Maybe this starting lineup would be the worst in the league offensively. Behind the Nets. Or ahead of the Nets. But God, that defense looks nasty. Yeah, you know what? Let's look at it. Full playoff rotation. Because yeah, we get rid of five different guys. Rui, Gabe, Jackson, Hayes, Cleaver, Connect, and we only get 3 different players. So we technically, our bench gets less deep, but Kleba and Gabe are not really rotation players. So we're trading Connect for Keon Ellis, Jackson Hayes for Rob Williams, and then Rui for Wiggins. This is ideal. This is the ideal situation. I'm not saying this is realistic, but this would be incredible if the Lakers could get these 3 guys for so cheap. Playoffs. Yeah, I could see this. 36. I could see him getting like 32. Damn. And yeah, he's more like 32. Smart, Rob Williams, Keon Ellis, Vando. I mean, I could see all this. I might switch Laravia and Vando, actually, because, I don't know, they're the same. Laravia is better, realistically. Yo, so one person in my chat, how y'all been? Damn, I've been streaming for like an hour almost. Oh, it has been an hour. Shit. Well, there's still people in my chat too. I've gotten 180 views in an hour. That's the most I've gotten probably since like 2020. So thank y'all for tuning in. Even if it's been for like 30 seconds each, I don't really give a shit. I'm getting views, so y'all talking shit. I'm not. What you doing? What you want? You got plans. Don't say that. Hey, here's y'all Silver Surfers. I know y'all been bored without it. That's why everyone been leaving. Such a small viewer duration. Clearly because of no Subway Surfers. I'm just trying to yap about basketball, man. If y'all here for like some actual trade rumors, go somewhere else. Well, no, this is trade rumors. What I'm saying is real trades. This is not real trades. As much as the thumbnail might entail, Jaylen Brown is not a Laker. As cool as that would be, I mean, we could talk about it, but I don't know if Jaylen Brown would be attainable for anybody but Austin Reeves, realistically. Do I think Jaylen Brown pushes the Lakers over the edge of contention, where getting rid of Austin Reeves and bringing in someone who is probably a worse offensive player? I'd agree that Jaylen Brown is worse offensively than Austin Reeves this season, especially as a shooter and a playmaker. I think Austin Reeves is better. But Jaylen Brown is obviously a 10 times better defender, and we all know the Lakers need that. And if we could keep Rui and just trade for Jaylen Brown, then our offense would stay elite, like how it is now. But our defense would get better because we add Jaylen Brown. And that Luka and Jaylen Brown, the fit would work, bro. I'm telling you. Especially since our starting lineup could be Luka, Smart, Brown, Braun, and Ayton, which is good defensively, great offensively, obviously. But I don't know. The Lakers kind of getting my hopes up, but I don't know if they have any real hope against the Thunder. If we're being real, dude, I'm bored. If I'm bored, that means y'all are bored, so I don't know what to do about that. Sabonis does not go into When was this? Holy yap, his mouth isn't even synced up to his face. What the fuck? Should I just turn to like Joe Bart and start reacting to shit? Dude, why are so many people watching this video when I've literally streamed for 6 years and no one has watched my videos? What is this? What is happening? What is happening? Alright, whatever. Lakers remove Bus Brothers. I don't even care. Dude, I'm gonna be so for real. Can we just talk about the idea of Ja Morant and LaMelo Ball getting swapped 1-for-1? I just want to think about it for a second because it could happen. We're talking about the guys who are most likely to get traded, and two of those guys with very similar value right now, very similar injury concerns, very similar offensive production, very similar roles. LaMelo Ball and Ja Morant. Obviously, if you're trading away a guy like Ja Morant or LaMelo Ball, you need a player to fill that role. So just swapping them for the inverse but the same version. Obviously, they're not the same. Ja Morant's much more attack downhill. Get a good shot at the rim instead of just chugging up a three, which he's been doing a ton more this season. But I think on the norm, LaMelo is more inefficient. I actually don't know their career efficiency, but I do think LaMelo is just like more of a shot chucker. But of course, he plays for the Charlotte Hornets. He doesn't have a teammate to get him open. Ja Morant has played with Jaren Jackson Jr., better teammate than LaMelo Ball has ever played with. So I think LaMelo Ball could play really well with Jaren Jackson Jr. Better than Ja Morant, arguably. Yeah, it's a good question. Have all the capital out there are the same teams, right? It's Utah that has tons of picks. Yeah, nah. I don't see Utah going for Melo. It doesn't fit their vision at all. Same thing with the Hawks, especially if they're not trying to trade Trae Young. If they, oh my God, if they got Trae Young and LaMelo Ball, that would be so hideous offensively. I'm gonna just say that. San Antonio with Trae Young or LaMelo or even Ja Morant. I don't want to see Ja Morant there because I think he doesn't fit as well as Melo or Trae. I think Trae and Wemby would be fucking insane. I think this is my final confirmation that the Spurs are gonna make a huge trade. If they're in like play-in talk and like 6th seed even at the deadline, they're trying to get a push over the edge. They might not because they're so young and they still have Wembanyama for the next 20 years. They might just take their time and not do anything this year. But they could trade for Giannis. Or they could trade for a guy like Trae Young, but obviously not if they have De'Aaron Fox. It's not as ideal. But I think if they just do like a De'Aaron Fox and a first for Trae Young, that's a better team than they have now. Because Trae Young is just such a better floor general than De'Aaron Fox. Because De'Aaron Fox is a 2-guard. As much as the Spurs are running him at the 1, so around Stephon Castle there as the primary playmaker, I think even imagine trading Stephon Castle directly for Trae Young. That would really fuck up your perimeter defense, but it would make that offense so elite that it's kind of tempting. However, I do think long term the Spurs should keep Stephon Castle and Dylan Harper. And I think if they're going to trade anyone, it should be De'Aaron Fox and Vassell. And I do think they could realistically get a trade done where it's De'Aaron Fox, Devin Vassell, and Sochan, and like 2 or 3 picks for Giannis. Or if they don't want to give up any picks, they could just throw Castle in that trade. So it's Devin Vassell, De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, and Sochan for Giannis. That would make the Spurs a lot better now, but it messes with their future so much. And they also wouldn't have any guards. They'd have Dylan Harper starting at point guard, and next to him would be Oh, I don't even know. I don't even know who would start next to De'Aaron Fox if they traded all those guys. Or not De'Aaron Fox, Dylan Harper. And dude, yeah. Nah, they couldn't trade all those guys. They need to keep someone. If I'm the Spurs, I'm giving up 3 first-round picks before I give up Stephon Castle. If I'm trading away De'Aaron Fox too. Dylan Harper though, he hasn't been incredible to start the season. He's been good. Not even good. He's been playing like a rookie, so it's not like saying a lot, but all rookies really have that excuse. Even if they're a top 10 draft pick, lottery draft pick, whatever, they'll have the excuse of college is way different than the NBA, and it's only a problem if it sustains and they consistently do not progress, you know. But whatever, let's go back. Oh, people are talking about LaMelo Ball to the Kings. That could be interesting. To the Kings would be really interesting because that means no, dude. Oh, that's ugly. And I guess they'd have to trade like Zach LaVine, Keon Ellis, and a first maybe for Melo. But I'm not doing that if I'm the Kings, and I'm not doing that if I'm the Hornets. So that's lose-lose. Yeah. But I think unlike Anthony Davis, LaMelo Ball is so inconsistent even when he is healthy that it's not the same as Anthony Davis, who will come out and give you 25 and 10 almost every night when he's healthy. Like the first 3 games of the season, I think he dropped like 22-13, 28 and 12, and like 27 and 10 or whatever it was. Hit a good stretch his first 3 games, then he went down with the injury. Hasn't been back since. He will play tomorrow, I've heard, against the Lakers, which would be fun. It's the first time Luka and AD have played each other since the trade, so because they didn't last year. Because unless AD came and played the game in April, but no, I don't think. Was he playing when Luka went back to Dallas and played like April 9th or whenever it was? Because I can't remember if he was healthy then. He might have been. Regardless, this is the first time that AD's played in LA. So, kind of a big game tomorrow. So we'll see how he plays. LaMelo is a lot less consistent than him though.
So I think for now that's another big piece of this puzzle as well. Just like with Dallas, Charlotte is not just going to be selling off of LaMelo Ball for as quickly as they can. They're going to want to operate from a position of strength.
That is one thing. He was their first overall pick in 2020. They're not going to just be trying to flip him, you know? Not yet, at least, I think. Wait, when was he drafted? Shit, it wasn't 2020. Was it 21? When was LaMelo drafted? Holy shit. Was it after Ant? Was it the same? Was it 2020? Because Ant was drafted number 1 2020. And then, then it was James Wiseman. Then it was LaMelo. Never mind. I got it. But still. Yeah, LaMelo was a top 3 draft pick not even 5 years ago. He's still got that hope, and he's still shown those flashes. So I don't think the Hornets are just trying to throw him away. Like, they're trying to get at least something if they do trade him.
They want to see their other players, their other blue chip prospects like Brandon Miller next to him for an extended period of time before they actually were to do something consequential. Sacramento could absolutely be doing something consequential as they are continually mired in a tough start. 3-12 on the year under first year.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about earlier. The Kings suck, dude. Their front office is horrible. I don't know why they signed Russ. I don't know why they signed Russ and then expected to be good, and now are mad that they are not. Like, obviously, you have Russell Westbrook, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, and Sabonis as your starting lineup in the 12 seed. Yeah, dude, you're not going to be good.
And the vibes are low. The vibes are low right now. Whoever keeps asking,
very low.
There's not much about Chicago right now aside from just enjoy the Gucci Mane game winners. That's all I got for it.
Yeah, Gucci Mane's out soon.
Sacramento, where the new look Bulls
Yeah, exactly. It's so insane that the Kings saw a playoff team that made the play-in for 3 straight years, 4 straight years, however many years it was. The Bulls were not good, and they were like, yeah, that team right there, that is the definition of like middle of the pack, not good, not horrible. Yeah, we want to be them. And that was like the year after they had just made the playoffs. They were like, yeah, let's go get DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine. I'm like, bro. And Russell Westbrook, for that matter, too. My God. Bad front office.
It's not exactly a surprise.
Thank you for the nice stash
comment.
It is not exactly a surprise that Sacramento running back the Zach LaVine DeMar DeRozan pairing with a center in DeMontis Sabonis, similar to Nikola Vucevic, who is not.
Yeah. This is what I was looking at. Sacramento Kings will listen to trade offers from multiple players. Sabonis, Zach LaVine, and DeRozan. Again, they should trade all 3 of these guys, but they probably will not be able to flip all 3 of them at this deadline. So they might have to wait till the offseason for at least one of them.
Hedge out, pick and roll ball handler, keep guys contained in space. This is not a surprise. We're definitely going to write about this timeline in the coming days and weeks. We're going to be talking about Sacramento more in the coming weeks on this live stream being that the Kings are definitively in a position where they need to look to tear this thing down and they need to look at a rebuild because they do not have even someone of a LaMelo Ball caliber.
The one thing that can save the Kings is if they get AJ DeMonsta in next year's draft, or obviously any of the other 2 guys on that in that draft. But they need a miracle, bro.
Keegan Murray for all of his strengths and for the 5-year extension that he signed this fall. He is not a lead initiator. He's not someone that's a fulcrum of an offense.
Yeah.
As
It's crazy to me. I don't remember who said it. It was DeMar DeRozan or Zach LaVine that said Keegan Murray is the core of our offense, and Keegan Murray should not be the core of any team's offense. That was one of the crazier things I'd ever heard, especially because you have Domantas Sabonis, who's a great center, a top 5 center in the league, maybe outside the top 5, you could argue.
Able to defend. He's not a number one, maybe even a number 2 option, maybe even number 3 option definitively on a good team right now. So for Sacramento, the biggest issue that they're going to focus on, that they're going to face for Sabonis, for Zach LaVine, for DeMar DeRozan, for Dennis Schroeder, maybe less so for Schroeder. But with those big three, Sabonis, LaVine, DeRozan, is what really is the value out there for those guys. Because LaVine was on the block in Chicago for years.
Right.
And Sacramento was really the team that wanted him the most.
Which is insane. The fact that they got rid of De'Aaron Fox for pretty much just Zach LaVine. They didn't get anyone else meaningful in that trade. It's insane to me.
Specifically, the owner there in Sacramento for targeting.
Hey, let me know if y'all want me to talk about anything specific. But right now I'm just yapping.
But there was not a lot of interest in Zach LaVine around the league. So now you're going to face the opportunity to trade for him where he has a player option ahead of next season, just like Trae Young, can easily test the market.
Boston. I don't want to talk about that. Boston landing Sabonis. Because Sabonis in Boston would be the Celtics' ideal, right? Because they get Jason Tatum back. They have Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, obviously 2 great defenders, or next to, like, them as the wings next to a center like Sabonis is perfect. Them as wings around a guy like Şengün would be perfect. So I think, obviously, with how similar Şengün and Sabonis are, flip them either way. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, as a defensive team fits so good around Sabonis that I think the Celtics could try to get him, but they're not getting him without trading Anthony Simons and every single pick they own, and probably paying Pritchard if we're being real.
Getting a player that has long-term money. DeRozan's deal at $25-27 million ballpark makes it a lot more palatable. But I think for all these guys who are making $40+ million, it's going to be harder and harder to move that major salary in today's second apron cap landscape. And no matter what, Sacramento is going to be a main fixture in the conversation of the trade market. But for now,
What do y'all think?
I'm getting the sense from talking to rival teams and other executives that the market is going to be very cool in terms of how much value those guys can bring back for the Kings. But that might not matter at the end of the day.
We talk about the Lakers next, so that's cool. I know. Let's talk about the Fire.
And is in my understanding leaning that direction after just
Oh damn, he tore his meniscus? I didn't hear about that.
Tyrese Halliburton for Sabonis having that whole life in being season that was Matt. What teams could be interested in Sabonis to get back there? Sure, 916 LTV. I don't have definitive answers for that at this juncture.
No shit, bro. He's asking your opinion.
He's got 40+ million on the books. He's been a defensive
Oh fuck.
for the Kings.
Okay, whatever.
350 for 18 million. That specifically allows him to be eligible to be traded this year. They avoided the 6-month trade restriction that would have made him from being that. That's what OKC is loaded. Of course, they've got Hartenstein.
I can see the Lakers going for Miles Bridges or Jeremy Grant. I do not. Let me just say that my opinion is no, because Miles Bridges and Jeremy Grant are both pretty nasty defenders. Both good offensively. Both some nasty defenders. Which is fine. They just don't fit this timeline and they don't fit this roster, so they're not getting traded here.
They're loaded with two-way wings and plenty of ball handlers. And we are going to talk about how absurdly beneficially they are positioned at the end of this show. What a team that is not absurdly positioned for long-term or the near term are the New Orleans Pelicans.
Oof. Yeah, that's a good one. How long ago? 7 weeks ago?
And they've made the only coaching change so far of this Dallas.
Yeah, no. This is rough.
With their lead executive, Pelicans moved on from Willie Green after 5 years with the team in favor of interim head coach James Borrego.
Yo, real quick, if there's anyone, it says there's like 8 people in my chat. I doubt that's real, but if any of y'all can tell me if my mic is working, because I've been streaming for an hour and a half, and I've just been under the assumption it's working. Because people have been coming and going without saying anything about it, so I'm not going to assume it's been bad.
This is a new iteration of this organization with Joe Dumars in place of David Griffin.
Yeah, the Pelicans might trade Zion.
And now Zion Williamson returned last night for the first time. And we got our first taste and our first option of Derek Queen next to Zion Williamson. And it was interesting to see the type of playmaking at that position next to Zion and what that could ultimately look like. We've seen Zion paired next to Steven Adams and Jonas Valanciunas and Yves Missi, but we've never
Wait, when did we see, am I tripping? When did Steven Adams play on the Pelicans? Wait, am I crazy? I genuinely do not remember him playing on the Pelicans with Zion. Steven Adams was on the Pelicans? I know Jonas Valanciunas was. I didn't know Steven Adams was. Damn. Steven Adams has been everywhere. Yeah, Derek Queen looks great.
The cost of that, of course, though, was sending out the unprotected potential pick of New Orleans or Milwaukee, where right now,
I don't know.
The season ended today. the Pelicans would be sending their own pick to Atlanta.
I don't know, because
to get Derek Queen, that would have
a lot of people are talking about the trade where the Pelicans sent their first round pick for next year to move up in this draft like a tiny bit just to get Derek Queen, and I do think Derek Queen is a good enough prospect to where it's not going to be a lose no matter who they could have gone. It depends on who the Pacers get next year. If they get like a top 5 pick, then yeah, the Pelicans should have kept their pick and not traded it. But again, hindsight's 2020. You can't really argue that. But the Pelicans knew they were going to be half, so you can't even make that argument for them.
For the best chance of the number 1 overall pick at 14% with the Wizards and the Pacers, which is not an ideal scenario, being that as good as Derek Queen is, I don't think anyone around the league right now believes that he's worth the number 2 pick theoretically in the draft, the number 1 pick in the draft,
Right.
and
Any top 5.
the Pelicans traded to move up to get
Top 10 even.
as well.
Next year's draft is so stacked.
So that cost is going to be very interesting to monitor, being that the Pelicans have some type of inclination to want to win, and there is some buzz about them potentially wanting to make some win now additional moves. But if it stays, or if the Pelicans remain in the cellar of the Western Conference, absolutely teams are going to be calling about Trey Murphy. Teams are going to be calling about Herb Jones. Teams are going to be calling about Jose Alvarado. There's plenty of players on this roster that will have a lot of interest if the Pelicans do decide to be a seller. And
Is anyone in my chat still? Is any of these people on my live stream real people? Because right now I'm going to just assume the 250 people that have seen this video are just all bots, because not a single one has said a word.
the ultimate fate of this team is going to be a major implication of James Borrego's chances of keeping this job as well. We are already hearing names from Darvin Ham to Kevin Ollie to the Orlando Magic head coach Jamal Mosley, who was obviously still employed by the
I don't want to talk about head coach. You know, I'm tired of this shit.
to be one of
I want to talk
the
about AD.
that migrated away from the loaded West out east to where the fact that Boston is without Jason Tatum, the fact that Tyrese Halliburton is without Indiana, that the East is
LaMelo and Bridges to Milwaukee for Giannis. Let's get for real for a minute. Let's get for real for a minute.
Detroit to anyone else can win a couple of games in a row and find themselves at the top of the conference right now. The Toronto Raptors are currently the 2 seed in the West at this juncture. So with all that being said, the Mavericks, though,
That is one thing.
going
That is one thing. We haven't seen AD and Kyrie play together yet, except for the one game. And that one game was fucking electric. Kyrie and Anthony Davis looked elite on the same team. So if we wait for Kyrie to get back, and we have Kyrie and Anthony Davis, I think this could be still a top 10 team in the league. Top 10 team in the West, to where they could make the playoffs. I don't think they want to make the playoffs this year. So I do think they should trade Anthony Davis at the deadline, even before the deadline, like a month before if they can, and get a pick. If they, oh my god, I've been thinking about this. Imagine the Jazz trade Lauri Markkanen in their first next year. That means we get Lauri Markkanen and probably like AJ Devonsta. That would be ideal. If we could trade AD for Lauri Markkanen in next year's first with the Jazz, that would be great. Regardless,
be moving Anthony Davis from a position of weakness. And if we want to read through the tea leaves and parse through what this Mark Cuban interview with The Athletic suggests, to me, this was a public posturing of sorts from Cuban to get the messaging across that Dallas is not just going to be moving Anthony Davis for pennies on the dollar.
on God.
They are not going to be willing to enter the trade market from a position of weakness.
Which is why I said, first of all, the Jazz would never do it. If the Mavericks could get Lauri Markkanen and a first in next year's draft, then it would be worth it. If the Mavericks inevitably end up trading Luka Doncic and then get Anthony Davis and trade Anthony Davis for someone for a pick, really a top 3 pick in next year's draft is more worth Luka than Anthony Davis is. Like, a top 3 pick in next year's draft is more valuable 1-for-1 than Anthony Davis. So obviously the Jazz are never gonna just give up that pick.
So whether
Unless something happened where like Ace Bailey takes a huge leap and they just want like defense and they're trying to win in the next couple of years, but that's not gonna happen. It's not.
Whether it's Kyrie Irving, whether it is anyone else on this Mavericks roster, from Derek Lively to Daniel Gafford, who have all been experiencing injuries to the point where the Mavericks, people were wondering if they'd be eligible for a hardship exception now that Dante Exum is out for the season as well.
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh my God, he's been out for the season for like the past 4 seasons. He hasn't played more than 20 games in who knows how long. He's bunned, bro. Can't stay on the floor.
Now, Lively, I'm not expecting Dallas to really consider trading, but all of the Mavericks pieces, I think Dallas wants to be patient, and they want to really start their conversations in earnest around the league once they've got Anthony Davis back healthy with a strong sample size. We're gonna talk about this more over the course of the next 2 months between now and the trade deadline, but we are going to need to see Anthony Davis have a...
You know what I'm mad about? We got D'Angelo Russell, and I was excited for the Mavs to tank this year because D'Angelo Russell, if you're a tanking team, you want D'Angelo Russell. If you're a tanking team, you want D'Angelo Russell because it means you get to watch your team tank and be horrible, but still get to watch some of the most fun buckets of your life 50% of the time. D'Lo is such a bipolar player. He'll go onto the court and score you 30, score you a point. You know, he'll go to the free throw line and make 1 out of 2 free throws and go to the bench and never play another minute. He is so bipolar that I'm like, man, him on a tanking team is perfect, which is crazy that NBA players nowadays have roles for just being on a bad team, like what's his name, D'Lo, or like Cam Thomas, even just an inefficient shot chucker, or LaMelo, John Morant, even all of them.
Healthy, dominant two-way play in order for the trade market to really pick back up, because he is someone who has a very long history of missing due to injury. That was one of the...
If I'm being for real, the team most likely to trade for Anthony Davis at the deadline is the Bulls, because they could be around that play-in spot with Josh Giddey and Kobe White and Vucevic, that they could be trying to make a big trade and just get over that hump and have Josh Giddey lead them, or be their second star even behind Anthony Davis, and lead them to a championship. I don't think it's gonna happen, but if it was to happen, it would be the Bulls.
Original critiques of Dallas' return for Luka Doncic, in that they did not just trade him for something short of what the ultimate offer could have been from the Lakers, but they moved him for a player with such an extensive injury history like Anthony Davis has, and that has continued to be the case for Davis with the Mavericks, where he played just one healthy half before everything crumbled last season. He's obviously missed approaching 10 games now with his latest calf injury,
which he'll finally play tomorrow. I do want to talk about, though, it's crazy how Anthony Davis could get flipped for Luka Doncic, and then the very next year is getting put in talks for Kobe White. Because Luka Doncic for Kobe White would literally have the White House set on fire. some crazy shit would go down if that happened. Luka Doncic for Kobe White? But Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis for Kobe White doesn't sound as extreme, because, yeah, Anthony Davis is in that middle tier. So, yeah, trading Luka for Anthony Davis is insane in a bad trade, and trading Anthony Davis for Kobe White is insane in a bad trade. But they are both smaller less insane trades than just trading Luka Doncic for Kobe White. So if they end up trading him to the Bulls or the Knicks, they need picks because they only got one out of the Luka trade. So if they're gonna trade AD too, they need at least 2 more. I want 3. If they're gonna trade AD, I want 2 or 3 picks.
That has been popping off about news from my friend Kelly Eco at Yahoo Sports about LaMelo Ball being increasingly frustrated with the organization.
All right, and we already watched all this. So let me look for more. What should I look at? I'm trying to think. I might just hop off live. To be honest, I've already been streaming an hour and a half, and no one's really watching. 270 people are, but besides that, I want to look at MVP race.
Before the season started, I predicted that the 2025 NBA MVP race would be one of the wildest and deepest races in NBA history.
And as a completely unbiased take, just to start this video here, I want to say, Luka Doncic is should be the favorite to win MVP. But again, completely unbiased and not because I'm a Laker fan, because I'm not. Because that would be biased. Because I'm not doing that. Because Luka is just, that much better than Shea and Jokic and everybody. And he's better on defense than Giannis and shit, probably.
1 month into the season, I'm feeling pretty solid about that prediction, as there are 5 very legitimate candidates for the
No, not 5. Don't you dare. Say 4. Say 4 and be proud of it being 4. Don't go into it saying 5, because Wemby is not an MVP candidate around Jokic, Giannis, Shea, and Luka. I'm sorry. As great as he is in his 3rd fucking season, give him another 2 years and then he'll win that MVP. God damn it, we can't be giving a 3rd-year damn MVP. Fucking Derrick Rose all over again. He's gonna win it over Jokic. Jokic should have won his 5th in a row by now. Same with Braun. Or whatever. Bullshit.
As time goes on, I can't imagine it'll be a close race between 5 players by the time we get to the end of the season. But at least right now, I think there are a lot of guys with really strong cases.
And I'm not even gonna lie, depending on the Giannis situation, I think there could still be 4 legitimate cases for MVP. Because Giannis might have the best statistical season out of all of them. He might average 33, 16, and 8. I don't know. Some crazy shit. Not that, obviously. Something a little less than that. But that is enough for MVP. However, he could be on the 13th seed in the East. And, he's not getting MVP for that. But Jokic, however, could be putting up a 30-point triple-double again, like he didn't do that last year and not win MVP. And if he didn't win it last year, I don't think he's going to this year. Unless they just feel bad, like how they did after they gave it to Embiid. But I think it's going to be really in between Shea winning it back-to-back and Luka winning his first. And I think, again, completely unbiased, I think Luka could beat Shea if the Lakers are the 2nd seed behind the Thunder and Luka puts up 34, 9, and 10 like he did in 2023, and Shea puts up his normal fucking 30, 32, 6, and 2. And I think Shea would have to take a little bit of a drop scoring-wise. He might have to average more around 30 instead of 32. Especially if the Thunder are that much better than the Lakers. By 10 wins. If the Lakers aren't even a top 3 seed, it's probably not even in the cards for Luka, but I have hope. And if it's not, if the Lakers aren't good, then it's going to be Jokic and Shea again. And it's going to be Shea again because we're not giving it to Jokic because people hate Jokic.
That's the 2026 NBA MVP race, 1 month into the season. Hello everybody, welcome to Rusty Buckets. Subscribe to the channel, drop a like, hype the video, and all of that. Your viewership is always appreciated. Like I said, there are 5
guys.
candidates, and those players are the 5 best players in the NBA right now. Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Let's see who he says at number 5.
Nikola Jokic and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Wait.
Antetokounmpo, Victor Wembanyama, Luka
No.
Doncic.
Again, Wemby's not a top 5 player. Okay. That's actually a conversation I haven't really thought about. Is Wemby a top 5 player when everyone is fully healthy? Is Jason Tatum better than a healthy Victor Wembanyama, or just Victor Wembanyama better than I think Jason Tatum, regardless of whatever. That's a serious conversation, and I genuinely think Wemby's better than Tatum, defensively by a mile, and I think there's a conversation to say Wemby's better offensively than Tatum right now. In his third fucking season, we're cooked, dude. Spurs are gonna be so good for so long. We're done.
I don't really think that there is anyone who currently has or will have a better case than those five, and I'd honestly be shocked if anyone else won it. Like, if anyone else was even in the top three.
Yeah, unless it's like averages 36 again.
I think there should be some honorable mentions, so let's get those out of the way.
Okay.
Hey,
Let me guess. Anthony Edwards, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant.
Everybody, I just wanted to provide a quick
Maybe.
disclaimer before this video starts. There's
Uh-oh.
some numbers in this video, but unfortunately it did get delayed by a day, so like the season around kind of rebounds. He has been, who is averaging 27.3 points, 9.9 assists, 5.5.
Wait. Oh, okay. And the MVP's out Cade Cunningham. And that's his first honorable mention. Yeah, I think Ant is more likely to win it over Cade. No, the Pistons have been good. I guess you'd give it to Cade.
On his 2-pointers on about 15 a game, which is okay, but his 27.5% on 6.7 threes is not very good. As a result, he has a 53.5% true shooting percentage, which is 4.8 points worse than the league average. Currently, the Pistons have a record of 10-2 with him, and they're actually 3-0 without him. A lot of that has just been that their backup point guard, Danish Jenkins, has been really good in his absence.
Wait, was he undrafted or did he go like late second round this year? Because I actually don't know.
Read into that too much. As for his on-off rating, they are 6 points better offensively, but 3.5 points worse defensively with him on the floor. I will say though, and just bear this in mind for all of the on-off metrics that I will be referencing in this video, I think it is important to highlight that his impact is basically the number one thing that people want to talk about when it comes to this race. However, especially 1 month into the season, these numbers can be a little bit wishy-washy depending on matchups. There can be outlier games that really throw things off. So I'll say personally, eye test-wise, Cade Cunningham seems clearly improved on the defensive end of the floor, which is really nice because his big frame as a 6'6", 6'7" point guard has been like, it's kind of been like, dude, you could be a really, really good defensive player. Could you please do that? Well, he's finally doing that. Next, we have Alperen Şengün, who is averaging 23 points, 10.3 rebounds, 7.
Bro, yeah, he's been crazy. But also, 23 points isn't going to win you an MVP, so out of the conversation.
4 assists.
Especially with KD there.
48.8% on 2-pointers, which is kind of low for a big man, taking 13.7 a game. But he is having his best 3-point shooting season by far thus far this year, hitting 44.7% of them on 3.2 attempts. He is just -1 real true shooting percentage, just because, again, that 2-point percentage could be a lot better. He's also had some games that are pretty outlier, and I expect that to equalize. The Houston Rockets have a record of 9-3 with him. As for his on-off, they are 9.6 points better offensively and 1.6 points better defensively, overall amounting to a plus 11.2 net rating. As for the next guy, we have Tyrese Maxey, who is averaging a pretty absurd 32.5.
Hard mention. Yeah, he's averaging 33, or he was whenever this was filmed. He's been elite for his role, especially because of how many guys are like taking his minutes, or not his minutes because he's getting a lot of minutes, but his role, like VJ Edgecombe, Jared McCain, Quentin Grimes, they're all kind of that similar guard, attack the rim, 3-point playmaking position. So I think Tyrese Maxey has done a good job officiating his role perfectly.
7.7 assists and 4.9 rebounds. He is shooting 48.5% on his 2-pointers, taking about 14 per game, and 41.3% from outside, taking 9.3 3-pointers. He overall has a 59.9% true shooting percentage, which is 1.6% better than the average. He has been insane this year. It really seems like his playmaking has improved a lot. His 3-point shooting has been absolutely bonkers so far this year. He's probably the quickest player in the NBA at this point. I think he has passed both Ja Morant and De'Aaron Fox in that category, but maybe not. I don't know.
Really? Oh, that's controversial. I think both of those guys are quicker. Did he say quicker or faster? Regardless, De'Aaron Fox is the fastest in the league, and Ja Morant, man, he's just so athletic. You can't say anyone's more athletic than him. Come on.
So fast.
He is fast though.
It seems like either you let him get to the basket and that's not good, or he's going to pull up three and he's shooting like fucking prime Steph Curry right now. I expect that to dip a little bit, but honestly, I don't know that it will, because he has had really good shooting seasons before. It feels like he'll chill out a little bit, but I also can't say that that's something I necessarily 100% expect. The Sixers currently have a record of 8-5, not the best out of this group, but frankly, without him dominating like this, they would be well below 500. They are 10 points better offensively with him on the floor and 2.7 points better defensively, so overall a 12.7 net rating. Donovan Mitchell is another guard who has just been absolutely lighting it up this year, but he is doing it in a different way. He's still taking 10 threes per game at 38.8%, pretty similar.
Wait, bro. Oh yeah, Donovan Mitchell's been going off this season. I haven't really been crediting it because he's been inconsistent, to say the least, the past 2 seasons. But he's been really good this season. 31, 5, and 6 is incredible, especially on that efficiency.
However, he is shooting 63.4% on his 10 two-pointers per game, which is really good for a guard. He's averaging 30.8 points and 5.5 assists with a 65.3% true shooting percentage, which is 7 points better than league average. That is some remarkable efficiency out of a 6'1" guard who's averaging 31 points per game. The Cavaliers are 9-4 with him and 1-1 without him. Overall, the Cavs are 12 points better offensively and 3 points better defensively with him on the floor for an overall plus 15.1 net rating, which is pretty much exact evidence of what I was saying with the net rating stuff being a little bit wonky this year. Let's be real. The Cavs are not better for having Donovan Mitchell on the floor defensively. That's just currently the way that it has shaken up. Out of those 4, if I had to pick among the honorable mentions who I would say deserves to be in the conversation most, I would go with Donovan Mitchell right now.
What? No. I'm taking Cade because statistically he's been better. I think Donovan Mitchell's a better defender, but Cade's on the better team. He's leading his team to the 1 seed, and I'd say has the worst team overall between the Cavs and Pistons. The only position where I think they have the Cavs beat is point guard, obviously, because of Cade, and center with Jalen Duren. But shooting guard, Donovan Mitchell is way better than Ivy. Small forward, Asar Thompson, I'm taking every day. Or wait, no. Oh yeah, okay, I will give them the 3. I forgot about that. Wait, shit, who does Cleveland have at their 3? Not De'Aaron. Starts with the... Fuck, who do they have? The motherfucking 3 for the Cleveland Cavaliers that they got last season. DeAndre Hunter, that's his name. He's really good, and he averaged like 17 a game last season, so I do think he has potential, but Asar is better. And then Tobias Harris versus Evan Mobley. Again, it's not even close. So overall talent, I think the Cavs are better, but maybe as a team, like a more balanced team, the Pistons clearly have been better this season.
Absolutely wild, and he had the largest net impact, but again, I don't really think anyone has a chance outside of the 5 main guys. So with that out of the way, let's get on to them. First of all, we have my preseason MVP pick, Giannis Antetokounmpo, who is currently averaging 31.2 points, 10.8 rebounds, 6.8 assists.
Yo, God, bro. That is insane. That is some insane numbers. 31, 11, and 7.
1.2 blocks, and he is shooting 64% on his two-pointers, taking nearly 18 of them per game, which is the highest volume of two-point attempts in the entire league. He has also seemingly replaced the really great mid-range shooting from him last season to shooting 50% from 3, but on like super low volume. He is hitting 50%, but he's taking 1.4 per game. personally, I would rather see Giannis in his mid-range bag than slightly better three-point shooting. I imagine that will fall off. I don't know. I have not really cared for that change, but overall, he has a 66.2% true shooting percentage, which is +8 by comparison to league average. The Bucks are 7-6 with him and 1-1 without him. It's not a very good record, obviously, but I would personally argue that the Bucks have kind of had some games where they very easily could have won. Some where you could argue they got screwed. There are certainly a lot of Bucks fans hitting that drum right now. But as for his
I will say Giannis does not get the same whistle as Luka or Shea, or even Jokic for that matter. I don't know, because he does get a lot of free throws, but he deserves the free throws. It's the same thing with Braun back in like the 2010s. No one can stop him. You have to foul him. Same thing with Giannis. He's getting free throws. He's not foul baited. And even if he does, he's not getting calls half the time, so it's kind of stupid.
We're all on off. The Bucks are 21.8 points better offensively with Giannis on the floor versus without him. Now, weirdly enough, they're actually slightly worse defensively with him on the floor. Again, net ratings early on in the season can be kind of awkward, but overall, he is +21 in terms of his impact. That is fucking crazy, and it's one of the best on-off swings of anybody on this list. I personally picked Giannis to win MVP this year just because I felt like he would have like the typical carry job type of argument. I very much bought into the idea of Giannis having like a 2018 LeBron type of thing, but with how good the records for some of these other candidates are and their numbers.
Yeah, I agree with that. Giannis having a 2018 Braun moment, but 2018 Braun didn't win. Harden did, which I think in this situation is Luka, so that gives me some hope, man. I think, damn, we gotta have some serious talks about who's better all time, Shea or Harden, because it's close. It's getting there. Shea, Russ, Harden, all of them are close in theory, and I think Shea might pass him this season, depending on MVP and everything.
Insane in their own right. I'm not feeling as great about him winning that award right now just because the Bucks have not been as good as I feel like they can be. I do feel like the Bucks are a good team that has a worse record than they actually are. Like, I don't think their record is indicative of how good the Bucks will ultimately be this year, but you do need to be doing better than that in order to win the MVP. Now, as for Victor Wembanyama, of course, he is going to miss the next month of the season. That does not inherently mean he is disqualified from winning this award, but it does mean that missing any time beyond that will make it pretty unlikely that he hits the 65-game minimum. So odds are Wemby will not really be towards the top of the MVP race by the time the season ends. However,
yeah, well, actually, the one thing I want to find out is, has Wemby missed enough games so he's not in the ratings anymore? Which I hate that rule, by the way, the 65-game rule. Because, I mean, yeah, Wemby got injured. He's been out for a couple weeks, so he might have already missed enough games to be out. But he deserves DPOY, man. He should have won last year, too, and the year before his rookie year, probably.
This year, through the first month, he absolutely is, so I still want to highlight how fucking great he has been. He is averaging 26.2 points, 12.9 rebounds. He's actually leading the league in defensive rebounds. He is averaging 4 assists. 3.6 blocks, which is also leading the league. He's shooting 55.8% on his two-pointers, taking 13.6 of them. Frankly, based on how he started the season, that is a little bit disappointing of a percentage. I would like to see him get into the 60s there. And he is shooting 34.5% from 3 on 4.8 attempts, which overall this amounts to a 34.5% from 3 on 4.8.
34.5% from 3. That's not as good as I would want it to be. I actually thought it was better. I thought it was around like 37, 36. But regardless, it is a 7'4" demigod, so it doesn't really matter his exact percentage, you know.
Which overall this amounts to a 60.9% true shooting percentage, which is 2.6% better than league average.
Which it should be higher.
13, 4 and 3.5 blocks on slightly better than league average true shooting percentage is quite good. Now, the Spurs have an 8-4 record with him, and they are 2-0 without him. They just got a win against the Memphis Grizzlies last night without him. We'll have to see what those numbers look like when there's actually like a full month of sample size without him. But as of right now, as for the on-off swing, weirdly enough, Spurs are actually 2.6 points better offensively without him. I think that would be a product of the games that they have played without him being really high-scoring games for the Spurs. I don't know that I would read into that too much, but defensively they are 8.3 points better, which is the biggest defensive swing on.
Is this shit buffering really bad and shit? I don't really know why, but it says it is. Yeah, I hope it's not too bad. I'm gonna get off soon anyways. So if y'all are still watching, I'm probably gonna be on for like another 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Let me see if I can fix my resolution real quick though. Okay, I should fix it. Let's see.
This entire list, which gives him overall a plus 5.7 net rating. Next up, we have everyone's favorite flopper, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who is averaging 31.9 points, 6.7.
Yeah, see, like this is why Luka's not gonna win MVP. This is the competition we're facing, and it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, man.
5 rebounds, 1.5 steals, and I wanted to highlight this: 0.9 blocks per game, which is quite good for a guard. He's shooting 59% on his 2-pointers, taking 14 of them a game, and 38.5% on just under 6 3-point attempts per game. Really, really good 3-point shooting for him out of the gate. He had a stretch last year where he shot the 3 ball really well, and that did not translate to the playoffs. But if this shot is real for him, and it does translate to the playoffs this time, that just makes him all the more of a threat of an offensive player, because it would be kind of inaccurate to call him a 3-level scorer because his 3 has just never been that reliable. His mid-range is ridiculous. His paint touches, his driving is ridiculous. But if the 3 ball...
And, you know, as much as I hate on Shai, it's not... His game is so fun to watch. Like Kyrie in his prime. I put KD up there, Steph, of course, T-Mac, Kobe, Melo, all these guys, so fun to watch. Man, like, I see that same shit with Shai, man. He just get a bucket whatever he want. And it's like, it's hard to hate, but it's like, I'm a Luka fan, so I kind of gotta hate, you feel me?
He's also good. He's taking a lot of them off the dribble. Like, that just makes him all the more terrifying. He currently has a 66% true shooting percentage, which is 7.7% better than league average. Doing that while averaging nearly 32 is nuts. And the craziest stat probably of all of this, which is why Shai is one of the leading candidates right now, besides for his individual numbers being insane. The OKC Thunder are currently 14-1, and it seems like there is no end in sight for them to keep winning these games. The only game that they lost was to the Portland Trailblazers, and I believe it was by like 3 or 4 points. It's nuts. The OKC Thunder currently have the biggest net rating, the biggest point differential between them and their opponent in league history. And mind you, last year they set that record. They're 2 points better than the record they set last year. It's fucking nuts. The Thunder are fucking nuts. And they might end up winning so many games that Shai winning the MVP just ends up being undeniable. And
that's the one thing I'll say. If the Thunder manage to win 70 games, it's over. Jokic doesn't have a chance. Luka doesn't have a chance. Giannis doesn't have a chance. But I will say, unless Luka averages like a 40-point triple-double, there's no way he wins MVP if Shai wins 70 wins. Shai wins 70 games. Bro, I don't even know. Because I think Luka's better than Shai offensively. Obviously, Shai's a better defender. We all know that. Offensively, Luka's better. And I'm not going to let y'all talk shit about it. Whatever. Y'all some bullshit anyway.
Like, oh, well, he's not even playing during fourth quarters. That means that this is actually
okay.
super.
No, that's fucking true. He's averaging 32 points a game and not playing fourth quarter. It's kind of fucking scary, but regardless.
No, I would not say so, because the Thunder only score 106 points without Shai. Like 106 offensive rating anyway. They are 20.6 points better in offensive rating with him on the floor versus without. Plus 20 on off. That's a very, very, very impressive number, and I believe it's better than what he had last year. Also, they are 5.9 points worse defensively, so that's interesting. I'm actually kind of surprised that number is that big, given that Shea is an okay defender. Again,
Yeah, just by the way, I'm gonna hop off in like 2 minutes here. So, any questions, anything y'all want me to talk about? What am I talking to? Y'all ain't gonna ask shit.
A little bit wonky this early into the season, but he is overall a plus 14.7. Luka Doncic is, of course.
Yeah. Oh my God. 35.99 though. It's pretty fucking insane.
Scoring this year at 34.6 points per game.
And he doesn't even have his 3 ball back yet. He's shooting 5% worse from 3 than he usually does. He's about to average fucking 40. Oh my
Frankly,
God.
regardless of who ends up winning this award, I am quite confident that Luka will walk away with the scoring title, presuming.
Yeah, I hope so.
Fear. He's averaging 9 assists, 8.5 rebounds, 1.9 steals, which I'm almost certain is a career high. And he is shooting.
Yeah. Last year he averaged 1.8, so it is a career high.
1.7% on his 2-pointers, which is really, really good.
Really good.
He's taking the most threes in the league.
Which he's not making them. Which means when he starts making his threes, he's going to be elite.
Right now at 10.9 attempts, but he's only shooting 31.7%. So
I don't
would
care.
like to see maybe that 3-point volume go down a little bit.
No. I want his volume to stay the same, and I want him to start making 6 threes a night. Yeah, y'all see the vision. I know y'all do.
Improve the quality of those shots.
It's not even that. The shots are fine. The shots are completely fine. He's just missing, which is why it's so scary, because he's getting the looks he wants. And we know he can make those.
Been a very inconsistent 3-point shooter.
Kill yourself. I fucking hate you.
When the shots are going in.
Okay, sorry. I might have overreacted a tiny bit.
He looks unbeatable, but when they're not, you feel like if you're the opponent, you're like, yeah, keep shooting those threes, man. It's far better than anything you do the moment you step inside the 3-point line. Also,
wow.
This is random. I want, hopefully there is someone out there tracking this. If there's anyone who knows how I can find this stat, I feel like Luka has more mid-range and ones than I have ever seen any other player get.
And I fucking love it. Except for Shea, of course. Actually, no, because the difference between Luka and Shea is they both get the same call, except Luka makes the shot more than Shea does, I think. That's probably a real statistic somewhere, but I fully believe that.
Kind of wild how often this guy gets fouled on a shot from like 10 to 16 feet away from the basket, and he hits it anyways, regardless of what angle, regardless if he's throwing up with one hand. Like, it just goes in every fucking time. It's kind of wild. Anyways, he has a 61.7% true shooting percentage, which is 3.4% better than league average, and that is also tied for his career high in true shooting percentage. So to lead the league in scoring while being more efficient than the average scorer is absolutely fucking bonkers, not to mention averaging a near triple-double. The Lakers have a record of 8-3 with him and 3-1 without him, so they're still doing good without him, but a lot of that is because Austin Reeves just went fucking nuts in the games that he has not played. But as a whole, they are plus 9.1 offensively with him on the floor and 1.7 points worse defensively with him on the floor. So overall,
Makes
he has
sense.
a plus 7.4 net rating, which is not that amazing relative to how.
Kill yourself. I'm sorry. Jesus Christ. I didn't mean. I've said it twice now. But
plus 7.4, I believe.
look, the Lakers roster is not constructed for Luka yet. The Dallas Mavericks roster was constructed for Luka, and he took him to the finals. He beat Shea. Luka beat Shea in a series, and I think he'll do it again. I think the Lakers have a real shot of going to the finals. Out of any other team to beat the Thunder, I think it's the Lakers have the better chance.
Wemby's on-off is worse, but yeah, it's him and Wemby have the worst net rating out of all of these guys. Jokic, Shea, and Giannis are both like plus 20. Spoiler alert on what Jokic's on-off will look like. But speaking of Nikola Jokic, the guy that people are consistently wanting to just no longer be in this conversation, consistently insists on being in this conversation. He started off the year kind of bad, so bad that I was like, man, I guess Jokic just isn't going to be in the MVP race for real this year. But then he went crazy. He has been insane in the month of November thus far. But as for his overall averages, he's averaging 29.2 points.
Oh my goodness, bro. This is not real.
13.4 rebounds, which is the highest rebounds per game in the league at the moment. He is also leading the league in assists at 11.1 assists per game. He's averaging 0.8 blocks, 1.8 steals.
Hold on, I just want to talk about, he's shooting 65% from the fucking field. Shooting 65% from the field, 40% from three, damn near. He's about to shoot 60, 40, 90, and average a triple-double. And we're not going to MVP this man. I don't know what to say.
1 assist per game. He's averaging 0.8 blocks, 1.8 steals. Nearly 5% on his two-pointers, taking 16.8, which is probably the second most in the league behind Giannis. I didn't actually look that up, but I can't imagine there's all that many more guys taking more twos than those guys. He is shooting 39.3% on his three-pointers as well, taking 4.7 of those per game. And just for another bonker stat for you, he is shooting, his true shooting percentage is 74.2.
Insane. That is fucking insane.
A plus 15.9 relative true shooting percentage. He is shooting his true shooting percentage is nearly 16 points better than league average, while he is averaging 30, 13, and 11. What the fuck is that, dude? That's ridiculous. Just to highlight again, because it has been different month by month. In October, he only averaged 20.4 points, and he was taking 13 shots per game. In November, he's averaging 34.8 points, which is 14.4 points better than what he was averaging in October, and he's only taking 6 more shots per game to do it. It's just wild. Now, as for the record overall, the Nuggets are 10-3 with him, and they are 7-1 in the month of November, suffering a 3-point loss to the Chicago Bulls. And as for his
I don't know, man. Yeah, Luka's not winning it. Jokic and Shea are too good.
Rating. The Nuggets are 19.4 points better offensively with him on the floor. And believe it or not, they are also 2.7 points better defensively with him on the floor. Overall, giving him a plus 22.2 net rating. So, even though I would personally... Look, don't get me wrong. I still think Jokic is the best player in the league. I have been beating that drum for a very long time. I was calling him that before he won the championship. And I have always thought that the people who think that he is a terrible defender are just blatantly incorrect. And he's also basically the best offensive player ever. For me, it's either him or Steph. But I've also never been one...
How y'all feel about that take? Jokic or Steph is the best offensive player ever? I put there's a lot of guys I would put in that combo. Shit, KD could be in that combo. Steph, it's probably Steph though. And Jokic is up there. Shaq even most dominant. MJ, LeBron, consistency. I don't know. There's a lot of guys that could be in that conversation.
To be like, I don't understand voter fatigue. Why is there voter fatigue? Like, I get it. You want a new story. You want new things. It makes sense. But he's the MVP thus far. All of his numbers are insane individually. His box score numbers are insane. His efficiency is insane. His true shooting percentage is insane. His on-off ratings are absolutely fucking insane. And the Nuggets are the second seed in the West with a really, really good record. Like, I want it to be...
Oh, shit. Didn't my stream just crash or something? Very well could have. And I'm hopping off stream anyway. Alright, y'all, if y'all can even still hear me right now, I hope y'all have a great night. I hope y'all have a blessed day tomorrow, and I hope y'all keep hooping and shit. And let me know what y'all think. Who y'all think's gonna get traded at this year's deadline? Like, every single player. I think John Morant. I think definitely Wiggins. Hopefully Wiggins to the Lakers. Hopefully Rob Williams to the Lakers. Keon Ellis maybe. You know, all these guys. But regardless, let me know y'all thoughts in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe. I need the money. I don't get paid from this shit anyway. It doesn't matter. Anyway, y'all. I'll see y'all.